You defend yourself. You explain. You justify. And with every word you lose. You think you're protecting your reputation. You think you're setting the record straight. But in the cold light of reality, you are doing none of those things. You are bleeding in front of sharks and wondering why they circle closer. There are people in this world who do not argue to find truth. They argue to watch you squirm. And the moment you open your mouth to defend yourself, you have already handed them the knife. You've shown them exactly where to cut. You know this feeling. The suffocating need to explain yourself. The burning in your chest when someone misunderstands you. Perhaps you're in that fire right now. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli understood something that most men die without learning. He watched princes fall not because they were guilty, but because they defended themselves like they were. He watched innocent men destroy their own credibility by speaking when they should have been silent. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. The trap is the accusation. The defense is the blood in the water. This knowledge has been buried under centuries of civilized lies. You were taught that truth wins. That if you just explain yourself clearly enough, if you present the facts, if you demonstrate your innocence, justice will prevail. This is a beautiful fairy tale. And it will get you destroyed. Today we are going to perform a surgery on your instinct to defend. We are going to cut away the rotting tissue of explanations, justifications, and the pathetic need to be understood by people who have already decided what you are. But be warned. Once you see how power actually works, once you understand why silence is a weapon and words are chains, you can never go back to the comfortable prison of seeking approval. If you're ready to stop defending and start dominating, listen closely. This might save your life. Why do you defend yourself? Because you were trained like a dog. From childhood, every accusation was followed by a demand. What do you have to say for yourself? Every misunderstanding required an explanation. Every judgment needed an appeal. This is the scaffolding of your psychological prison. Think of your reputation as a fortress. When someone attacks it, your instinct is to run outside the walls and fight them in the open field. This is exactly what they want. Because the moment you leave the fortress, you are vulnerable. The moment you engage, you legitimize their right to question you. This is what I call the defense paradox. The more you defend yourself, the guiltier you appear. The more you explain, the more suspicious you become. The more you justify, the weaker your position. I'm going to reveal the 5 dark laws of strategic silence. 5 principles Machiavelli would have taught his prince about accusations, defense, and the brutal art of flipping power without saying a word. Each law is more dangerous than the last. Each one requires you to kill a part of yourself that society trained into you. We're going to dissect all 5 laws. By the end, you'll understand why your enemies want you to speak, and why your silence is the only weapon they cannot defeat. This is the law of reversed burden. You know this moment. Someone accuses you. Your heart races. Words flood your mouth. You need to explain that they're wrong, that they misunderstood, that if they just knew the full story they would see the truth. And you vomit explanation after explanation while they watch with satisfaction. You list evidence. You provide witnesses. You reconstruct timelines. And with every word you look more desperate, more guilty, more weak. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see but few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Why does defending yourself make you look guilty? Because defense is the posture of the accused. When you explain, you accept the frame that you owe them an explanation. You submit to their authority to judge you. The psychological mechanism is simple. The one asking questions holds power. The one answering questions is the subordinate. This is why police interrogations work. This is why courtrooms are structured with the accused standing and the judge elevated. When you defend yourself, you elevate your accuser to judge. You think clarity will save you. You think if you just explain it perfectly, they'll understand. But they don't want to understand. They want to watch you scramble. Your explanation is their entertainment. Every time you defend, you feed their power and starve your own. If you continue this pattern, you become known as someone who can be rattled. Someone who can be controlled through accusation. Your enemies will learn that all they need to do is point a finger, and you will dance like a puppet explaining yourself. You become the servant of every judgment. Stop explaining. Start inquiring. When someone accuses you, you do not defend. You ask, why would you say that? You investigate their motive. You turn the mirror on them. Not, that's not true, what actually happened was, but, interesting. What made you think that? You shift from the accused to the analyst. From the defendant to the detective. You are no longer answering their question. You are questioning their question. The guilty explain. The innocent inquire. Choose your posture carefully. Pause. Think about the last time you defended yourself. Feel that tightness in your chest? That was submission. That was you handing over your power like loose change. This is the law of interpretive void. You fear silence. When someone accuses you and you say nothing, the air becomes thick. The pressure builds. Every second of your silence feels like acid on your skin. You want to fill the void. You want to break the tension. So you speak. And you lose. You know this person too. The one who weaponizes your silence. Who says, "You're not even going to defend yourself?" That's proof you're guilty. Who demands you speak and then uses your words as rope. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. Where the very safety of the country depends upon the resolution to be taken, no considerations of justice or injustice, humanity or cruelty, should be admitted. Silence is deception. It is strategic ambiguity. Why is silence powerful? Because humans cannot tolerate uncertainty. When you don't defend yourself, you create a vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. Into your silence, people will project their own fears, their own doubts, their own interpretations. Your accuser will begin to wonder why you're not defending yourself. Are you guilty? Are you above it? Do you know something they don't? Silence forces them to fill the void. And in filling it, they reveal themselves. You think silence is passive. You think it's weakness. Society taught you that real strength is standing up for yourself, speaking your truth, fighting back with words. This is a lie designed to make you controllable. When you remain silent, you are not being weak. You are being a black hole, absorbing their attack, giving them nothing to push against. If you keep filling every silence with defense, you will never learn the art of strategic withdrawal. You will spend your entire life in battles that don't matter, bleeding energy over the opinions of people who were never going to respect you anyway. You will die exhausted and misunderstood, having explained yourself into obscurity. Practice the pause. When accused, breathe. Count to 5. Let the silence expand. Watch what happens. Watch them squirm. Watch them project. Watch them begin to doubt their own accusation. Your silence isn't a void. It is a canvas on which they will paint their own guilt. The weak fill silence with explanation. The strong let silence do the work. This is the law of self-defeating accusers. You've met this person. The one who attacks you publicly. Who spreads lies. Who tells everyone you wronged them. And your immediate instinct is to respond. To correct the record. To defend your name. You draft the perfect response. You imagine delivering it. You rehearse the moment when everyone sees the truth. But what if I told you that the best response is no response at all? The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool defends now and loses. The wise man does nothing and wins later. Why does non-response destroy accusers? Because accusations have a shelf life. Lies require maintenance. False narratives need constant reinforcement. When you don't respond, you don't give them the confrontation they need to keep the story alive. You deny them the oxygen of attention. And here's the beautiful brutality. People who lie always lie again. People who attack you will attack others. And when they do, your silent sign the past becomes evidence of your character in the present. Time is your weapon. Let them marinate in their own poison. You think speed is strength. You think you need to respond immediately or people will believe the lie. But here's what actually happens. When you respond, you make it a story. When you stay silent, it's just one person talking to themselves. Which looks crazier? 2 people fighting or 1 person attacking air? If you respond to every accusation, you become a performer in someone else's circus. You spend your life reacting instead of acting. You become known not for what you build, but for what you defend against. Your legacy becomes a long list of things you said you didn't do. Let them speak. Let them accuse. Let them spin their narrative. And you? You continue building. You continue moving. You continue living as if they don't exist. Because here's the secret. Your life is your defense. Your success is your rebuttal. Your peace is your victory. Not today. Not this week. But 6 months from now, a year from now, when they're still stuck in the same place spewing the same poison and you've ascended, everyone will know who is telling the truth. Defending yourself stops your momentum. Silence preserves it. Choose accordingly. I know faces are flashing in your mind right now. Names you've wanted to confront. Feel that burning need for justice? That's your ego. And your ego will get you destroyed. Starve it. This is the law of evidential reversal. Someone makes a vague accusation. You betrayed me. You're manipulative. You can't be trusted. And immediately, you start listing all the ways you didn't betray them, all the evidence of your trustworthiness, all the examples of your loyalty. You just did their work for them. You accepted that their accusation deserves a defense. Men are so simple of mind, and so much dominated by their immediate needs, that a deceitful man will always find plenty who are ready to be deceived. The deceitful make accusations. The simple defend against them. The wise make them prove it. Why is this powerful? Because most accusations are smoke. They're emotional. They're vague. They're designed to provoke a reaction, not to establish truth. When you demand proof, you do three things simultaneously. First, you force them to be specific. Vague attacks die in specificity. Second, you shift the burden back to them. Now they must produce evidence or reveal they have none. Third, you remain in the position of power. You're not defending. You're auditing. You think being defensive proves innocence. But it doesn't. It proves insecurity. It proves you're affected. It proves they got to you. When you demand evidence instead of providing defense, you demonstrate unshakable self-assurance. You're not rattled. You're curious about what fantasy they've constructed. If you keep defending against accusations without demanding proof, you train people that accusations are free, that they can throw stones without ever having to show the stones are real. You become target practice for anyone who wants to feel powerful for a moment. When accused, respond with, "Show me exactly what you mean." Not defensively. Calmly. As if you're a scientist examining an interesting specimen. They say you betrayed them? Describe the betrayal. Date. Time. Specific action. They say you can't be trusted? Based on what specific behavior? I'm genuinely curious. Watch them fumble. Watch them realize they don't have specifics. Watch them reveal that this was always about their feelings, not your actions. And if they do provide specific evidence, then you address specifics, not the emotional frame. Never defend against smoke. Make them show you the fire. This is the law of demonstrated truth. You think your words build your reputation. You think explaining yourself, defending your character, articulating your values, you think this is how people come to respect you. It isn't. You know this deep down. You've met people who talk constantly about their integrity, their loyalty, their honesty. And you don't believe them. You've also met people who never speak about these things but demonstrate them through action. And you trust them completely. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are, and those few dare not oppose the opinion of the many who have the majesty of the state to defend them. Your reputation is not what you say about yourself. It's what you do when no one is forcing you to explain. Why is demonstration more powerful than declaration? Because the brain trusts patterns, not promises. When you defend your character with words, you're asking people to believe your narrative. When you simply live your character through consistent action, you're giving them pattern recognition. Patterns cannot be argued with. Patterns are evidence. This is why the most powerful people never defend themselves. They don't need to. Their track record speaks. Their results speak. Their continued success speaks. You think you need to control the narrative. You think if you don't speak up, people will believe lies about you. But here's the brutal truth. People who want to believe lies will believe them regardless of your defense. People who know you through your actions already know the truth. You're not defending yourself for the people who matter. You're defending yourself for people whose opinions are irrelevant. If you spend your life defending your reputation with words, you spend no time building your reputation with deeds. You become a person known for defending yourself rather than a person known for their undeniable impact. The more you talk about who you are, the less you become that person. Stop defending. Start demonstrating. Someone questions your integrity? Don't explain your integrity. Demonstrate it in your next action. Someone questions your competence? Don't list your achievements. Go achieve something new. Someone questions your character? Don't write a paragraph. Live a chapter. Your life is a book. Every action is a page. When someone questions the book, you don't read it aloud to them. You hand them the book and let them read it themselves. And if they refuse to read it, they were never your audience. Your reputation is built in the moments when no one is accusing you of anything. Defend those moments by never wasting them on defense. You feel the weight now, don't you? The realization that every time you defended yourself, you made yourself smaller. Every explanation was a confession of insecurity. Breathe. Thesis, the death of the old you. Let it die. Now you see them. The 5 laws of power that society hid from you. You see them in every interaction where you scrambled to explain yourself. You see them in the faces of people who demanded your defense and feasted on your discomfort. You feel a heaviness now, because you realize that to follow this path you must kill something inside you. The part that needs to be understood. The part that craves approval. The part that believes if you just explain yourself clearly enough, everyone will finally see your worth. That part must die. Because here's what society won't tell you: the need to be understood by everyone is a cage. It makes you a slave to every opinion. It turns you into a performer on a stage you never built, for an audience that paid no admission. You must transition from the defendant to the sovereign. A defendant explains himself. A sovereign simply is. A defendant needs validation. A sovereign validates through existence. A defendant fears judgment. A sovereign is indifferent to courts that lack jurisdiction over his soul. When you stop defending yourself, a strange thing happens. The accusations lose power. The lies lose traction. The people who were trying to pull you into their chaos realize they can't reach you. You become unreachable not because you built walls, but because you stopped standing in the town square waiting to be pelted with stones. Your energy returns. The mental exhaustion of constant explanation vanishes. Your anxiety, the suffocating anxiety of needing to control what everyone thinks, it dissolves like morning fog. You reclaim your time. You reclaim your peace. You reclaim your power. This is the ultimate lesson Machiavelli knew. You are not responsible for the opinions in other men's minds. You are responsible for the kingdom of your own life. Defend the kingdom. Not the rumors about the kingdom. But be careful. As you stop defending yourself, as you cut away the need for external validation, you will face a final enemy. The most dangerous one of all. Silence from others you can handle. But silence with yourself? That's where the real test begins. Because once you stop performing for an audience, once you stop crafting explanations and managing perceptions, you'll be left alone in the room. And you'll have to look in the mirror. And here's the question that will haunt you. What if the person you've been defending isn't who you actually are? What if all those explanations were just stories you told yourself? What if you've been defending a fiction? When you stop defending yourself to the world, you must start confronting yourself in private. That is a surgery that makes this one look gentle. But that is a shadow for another time. If you made it here, you're different. Most people will watch this video and immediately go defend themselves in the next argument. They'll feel the truth of these words and then ignore them the moment their ego is threatened. That's fine. They were never meant to understand. But you're still here. Understand this. What I can show publicly is only the surface. There are aspects of power dynamics, psychological warfare, and Machiavellian strategy that I cannot discuss openly. The algorithm suppresses the most dangerous knowledge. The platform buries what actually works. There are videos I've created that will never see the light of public upload. Techniques that would be censored. Principles that society cannot allow to spread freely. If you want what's hidden, if you want the uncensored psychology, click the join button. Step into the architect level. You'll unlock exclusive content that goes where this video cannot. But most won't. That's the point. Subscribe if you haven't. And remember, the next time someone demands you defend yourself, smile. Stay silent. And watch them drown in the void your silence creates. You are the sovereign now. Act like it.